So next one is, after that, what is it, policy?
Policy.
Policy, who's handling policy?
Natalie, and we can help walk us. Natalie and Bill can help walk us through it.
Item D is the only item from SEC one on consent agenda.
Yes.
It's the only item
It's
they voted
the
on.
only item we voted on.
I got 5 to vote. So I got 5 to vote.
Okay, so Bill, you're coming to, oh, got a whole team.
I got a
Great.
team, I got a group.
Paul?
Just half of where we're Natalie, you gonna You gonna wait? Okay. I don't, now I always need your support, but I'm good. You got my back.
Yeah, we're gonna just put it up, right?
Yeah, we need some.
I got one sheet, I got lunch, but it's all capital.
All right, let's go.
Valerie,
Valerie's coming.
I haven't seen Valerie in a while.
you just jumping straight to me?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm reading the directions right now. But yes, we are.
Okay. So this past Saturday, February the 10th at Stahl High School, we had our annual teacher recruitment event, but it became not so much a recruitment event as a hiring event. It's our largest event that we've ever had, I'll be honest. After many years in the department, it's definitely our biggest event. We had almost 700 teachers registered for the event. Lynn's going to talk about the event in a little more detail here, but a lot of teamwork went into making that happen. We were the first district in the Tri-County Charleston area to have an event, so we're ahead of the other districts, which is always a positive, because we know early hiring is critical, because that's when you find your best teachers. So I'm not going to steal the thunder from Valerie and from Lynn. I'm going to let Lynn go ahead and
Stole a
start.
majority of it.
Some pieces, but you have more to add because you were right in the middle of it. There's your.
So as he said, our 2018 hiring event took place this past Saturday at RB Stahl High School from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. The space at Stahl provided CCSD an opportunity for candidates to visit 80 tables. 2 gymnasiums featured 47 elementary schools, and 2 separate hallways housed our 17 middle schools and 16 high schools. The HR department welcomed over 500 diverse candidates, making this year's hiring event one of the largest attended in the past 10 years. 81 open contracts were issued during this time. 22 were hired for our hard-filled positions in math, science, and SPED. And 20 of those candidates were extended an opportunity to attend on-site interviews.
And I believe when I left the office, we were up to 85, right at the point we printed this PowerPoint. So
Does the math numbers go up any higher than 10?
I do not. Lynn may know. 10
Pardon?
is the
Is it
highest.
still 10? It's still 10 for math, but maybe science still, or did it increase?
So we were at 10, but altogether, I believe for this year, we're at 13. And that just doesn't include what we've done with the hiring event, but also our visits before
The 13
to
math
different
teachers.
schools. Correct.
Let me move. I need that list so I can place them.
Okay. To give you some numbers also, and additionally, we've hired to this date about 49 Caucasian, 14 Black, 3 Hispanic, 4 Asian, and 23 we hope to have after we receive those numbers fully, once they apply on AppleTrack.
Repeat that again?
That is 49 Caucasian, 14 Black, 3 Hispanic, 4 Asian. And then
That's
we have...
what you interviewed on Saturday?
That's including Saturday's event and also the events that we've attended at different universities.
Gotcha.
And we're missing data for 23 because they haven't registered in AppleTrack yet, but once we have that, we can provide that to you.
Could you do me a favor? When you get a chance, and I'll see you Friday.
Okay.
Can you provide me the vacancies in North Charleston schools?
Okay.
The number of vacancies. And what you interviewed for that? Thank you.
Anything you want to add, Valerie? Yeah, good.
So, your recruitment efforts they extend to very many black colleges?
Yes.
Which ones?
What we're trying to do now is expand our presence at HBCUs. And so, of course, we have tomorrow, as a matter of fact, we'll be at South Carolina State and Claflin's Career Day. I did bring the advertisement for that. I just want to pass that around and see that, but the Charleston County School District is represented there. We will also, at that particular event, SC State, Claflin, candidates from Benedict and Morris will be in attendance at that event. So we'll be there representing and recruiting there. We'll be going to Maryland, Maryland Eastern Shore. We'll have an HBCU event. And the HBCU event is on March the 8th. And we'll be represented there. And so for that area of the country, that's really a highly attended session. So we'll be recruiting there as well, which is an expansion. In North Carolina, we're looking at having freelance events because their events were earlier in the year. We have North Carolina A&T, North Carolina Central, and Bennett College. Bennett is in Greensboro.
Bennett's a teaching college, isn't it? Bennett's a teaching college, isn't it?
Bennett is a teaching college. So I plan to visit those colleges as well, but not as a part of a fair, but as a part of a freelance event.
And let me explain a freelance event. It's something we started about 12 years ago. Instead of going to a fair and competing with a number of districts, we actually work through the Career Center or work through the dean, and we host. We rent a conference space at the hotel, and we invite candidates to come just see us. So I know Valerie's been working on those in the North Carolina area.
One more thing. So the 85 or so candidates you have, where did these people come? Where did these? When you went, this was at, you said Stall?
It was at Stahl High School. We'll be glad to dig deeper. I'll just be honest with you. Staff was there Friday night late setting up. We were there at 6 o'clock Saturday morning until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We've gotten some preliminary numbers, but they came back in the office today and they're working through all those pieces to see, really what.
All right. But this wasn't targeted in no particular group. This is just an event you had.
No, sir. Well, I will say that the recruiters advertise through our system, through AppleTrack, through all the fairs they've attended in the fall. We have a really large database.
All right.
And
we reached out to them via email as well.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Lynn manages a monthly newsletter to all of our candidates too that spreads all that information.
Thank you.
And I will say too that we did target 13 students that we met with earlier in the year, well really in January, for this event as well, and attend as well. And they're from Claflin and University, so, and they were all certified.
There's been a slight advantage there.
So hopefully we will get, hopefully we will get them, and one was math.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you.
Any other questions about our recruitment event?
Good
Y'all
job.
have something coming up, I saw in our, just goes in that Royal program, what was that, Chris?
Something in career
Career
something. So was it love? Something love.
I'm not sure.
Something with love.
Do you recognize them?
Something about I see that coming.
It was in our church bulletin.
What's tomorrow? Yeah, I knew we were going to state tomorrow.
No, it's not state. It's let me see.
He said something about a royal.
While you're looking for that, I just have a little bit to add. These folks, I think, are downplaying what happened on Saturday. I was there. I got there and I was blown away at the organization, the number of attendees, the level of excitement in the air. It was an amazing event. They deserve a round of applause.
It's CCSD and Links Love HBCUs College Fair, Saturday, February 17th.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's
you?
Right.
That's you.
So the community organization called the Links partnered. We partnered with them. There's a college fair on Saturday, and so we partnered with them to put that event.
Gotcha.
You can give us an update on that and maybe an invitation. Maybe an invitation.
Okay.
You're
I
invited.
can, but it's a college for students who are going to college. Not
to
just high
college.
school
Oh,
students.
okay.
It's not for
Okay.
students graduating from college looking for work.
You're gonna track them as they go to school and
We will identify the students from CCSD who get accepted at the various colleges during the fair.
So this is a college recruitment then, what it is. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, we'll move on to our next item. So I'll kick this off. So I wanted to just give you all an update on our partnership with the University of South Carolina for our teacher librarian cohort. So if we go back to last spring of 2017, I sent kind of a cold call email to Dr. Karen.
David Blankus.
Yeah, actually,
yeah.
I didn't talk to
Yeah,
David
yeah,
initially.
it's
It was
me
you, and
first.
it was Jerry Solomon.
Yeah.
And just introduced myself, and I said, you guys don't know me basically, but I have a shortage in Charleston County School District with media specialists, and I need help. And I've got this idea that I want to discuss with you about taking our 3,500 teachers that we have on staff, and do we have any of those 3,500 teachers who would love to be in a media center and would love to take on a master's degree? And so I was thrilled that they responded pretty quickly and said, let's get together and talk. And I was in Columbia early May, and I went on campus at USC, which I'm an alum. And I got there, and there was a room full of people. I was a little overwhelmed. It's kind of like the Shark Tank thing for a minute there. I was presenting my idea and how could we partner, because I knew I was facing about 20 vacancies in our media centers going into this school year. So it started that way, and we worked through the summer, and Christy James came on board as our coordinator for media services, which was just a huge asset, because once we got everything ready, Christy just ran with it. So I know I sometimes steal thunder, so I'm going to turn it over to you, but I was just so excited about this because these partnerships are so critical. So we're going to start looking at similar partnerships around math and also science. I'm talking to the College of Charleston about that this week. So, and Mike, good to see you. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Christy James. I'm the Library Media Services Coordinator.
I'm Karen Gavin, Associate Professor in the Library School of Library and Information Science, USC.
I'm Mike Corvo, the Office and Communications Coordinator at the School of Library and Information Science at USC as well.
All right, so Bill gave us an idea of what we're doing, and just so we're all on the same page, this is not what we're doing, okay?
That was not my idea.
All right, that's not what Bill was looking for, and that's not how we're moving forward. See, librarians are funny. We're funny. As Bill mentioned, the purpose is we have had a persistent shortage, and so this was CCSD's proactive approach to look at this. So in addition to the historical data we've seen with openings, HR has also looked ahead and looked at potential retirement. So we know that there will be a need for this. There's also quite a bit of support in literature and data that fully staffed libraries actually impact student achievement. So we want to make sure that we have the best staff in our libraries. If you think about it, the librarian is the only person who works instructionally with every single child and every single teacher. It's a really important position. And our libraries don't look the same. So that first picture is not what libraries have looked like for quite some time. But even 5 years ago, our libraries look much different today than they did then. And so we want to make sure we have the right people who are going to be willing to embrace that change. I'm not going to talk about every picture, but that picture is Ms. Stokes, who is one of our cohort members at North Charleston Creative Arts Elementary, and that was her participating in World Read Aloud Day just last week. But the idea was that we're going to work with USC because they are an ALA, American Library Association, accredited program, which puts them a step above other library programs, but it's also completely online. So these teachers could continue teaching full-time and gain their master's degree. We wanted to grow our own model, so we know if there's successful teachers in the classroom, they're going to add a whole nother level to what's happening in the library. The way this has been structured is that the cohort members will have enough hours towards their degree that they'll actually be eligible for hire and be able to start in positions this August. So there's a pretty quick turnaround with us getting from the cohort members to the library. And those cohort members are committing to stay with us for at least 5 years. My goal is much, much longer. We're never letting them leave.
Trap. So the timeline Bill already mentioned when we all got together, and our director, David Lankus, was thrilled at the opportunity to do this. The College of Ed at USC has done this for several years successfully, a cohort program. So he met with that dean, and we started moving forward on our end, and Christy and Bill on their end. We came and had an on-site orientation with all the 10 teachers who are going to be coming into the program, which was nice because as an online program, we don't always get to meet face-to-face, so that was a great opportunity for us. So as Christy said, they're going to be eligible for hire after they get their 12 hours under their belts, and they started classes in January. And we're thrilled to have them on. We are, I have to brag, we are the #5 school library program in the nation. So, and we're trying to get to #1. So with these candidates, students, we're gonna get there.
And that whole piece of the 10 cohort members being able to go into a media center by August is just critical. It's awesome for us. They get 12 hours and they're ready to go into a media center. So our goal, Christy and I have talked about this, no vacancies in media centers this year.
None.
That's our
None.
plan.
And because we were able to design the application process and the review process, any of the cohort members will tell you it was pretty intense, but we were able to really target the areas to get the candidates that are going to have some of these qualities we're looking for. That we know that they're top-notch instructionally, we know that they have leadership experience, so they'll be ready to run with that position. They have collaborative practices already. They're used to working with other teachers, which is so important to what librarians are doing. And they have a continuous desire to learn and grow. That part of them being professionals was really important to us choosing the cohort members.
And it's nice, we're tickled to have them from a variety of grade levels and a variety of geographic areas in your district.
And those numbers, we did a blind application process, but the numbers really worked well to mirror the types of vacancies we have and where we're looking at retirements as well. And there is a majority of teachers from the north area, which is also where we tend to have a lot of our vacancies. So this is working well.
So our staff, including Mike, who has done amazing work with us, are working together with Christy and with Bill. They have extra opportunities that our other students don't have. For example, the South Carolina Association of School Librarians Conference is in March, and they will be funded fully to go to the conference and just plug right into the professional association here in the state. They're also already members of the National Association, American Association of School Librarians, and they're going to be doing things like visiting a variety of different grade levels in school settings as they go. We'll come and do professional development when it's needed. All of our faculty is totally on board with this, not just the school library faculty, but all the library faculty, to come and present here for additional PD. So,
and from the time we've had our cohort members, we were able to pair them up with a veteran librarian. So right now, while they're just starting their coursework, it's an informal person to touch base with, but that person will transition into their formal mentor when they enter the library and will continue to be a person of support. And also, we've welcomed all the cohort members into all of our library training. So most of them will be attending our Friday library training when the district has their school PD day.
I'm really tickled to tell you that just recently we had a meeting with the supervisors of school librarians from around the state, and we announced this cohort, and we have already been approached. There are 3 different districts who see this as an incredible model for them. So poor Christy and Bill are going to be getting lots of emails and phone calls because they want to replicate this. There's shortages around the state, and I failed to mention we are the only library school in the state, so we're the only ones who can produce them. So it's getting a lot of buzz out there, and we're going to be talking more about it at the Professional Association meeting I mentioned to you in March. We also want to publish articles about it in national publications to talk about the model, because I did a presentation in a national association meeting and was approached to talk more about it at another association. So this is getting to be really popular out there. So I think there will be not singular cohort. I think we're going to have several around the district, and you guys are the ones that launched it. So it's great.
And then just a shameless plug for libraries and librarians.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you. Any questions? or-
Nice to be here. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for
Thank you.
doing good work.
Thank you.
A lot about the library.
Thank you.
All right, so
Thanks, Sally.
is Natalie leading this one, or?
It starts to become Natalie.
Usually it would be Erica for naming the facility.
Okay, naming facilities. Great.
Hello.
This guy is dead. I'm sorry.
Just one.
No, Erica.
No.
So, wanted to share with you the fact that we met with community members, actually initiated by for B, the naming of the Angel Oak Media Center. The school reached out to us because their PTA and SIC had a recommendation. We conducted the naming process as we normally do under the guise of policy FF. And the recommended name for the Angel Oak Media Center is the Reverend Dr. Eric Mack Media Center. There were 16 members present at the naming committee, and all of there are certain individuals who, by the nature of their role, constituent board members, parents, etc., are on the committee. And it was unanimous that the committee wanted to move forward with that name, so I bring that forward.
Okay, I move to approve the naming of the Angel
I'll
Oak
second it.
Middle Media Center. All right,
I'll second it.
okay. Anybody have any questions?
Yes. What other names were submitted?
Chris Collins.
There weren't any other names submitted.
Do we have any other schools or facilities or buildings that are named after serving board members?
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure, but I could find out and get back to you.
We may not at this time. I think we have had in the past.
I don't think so.
And it wouldn't be school, well, facilities.
I know, but it's part of the library. So
Right.
on what basis, why did they recommend as some Reverend Mack for the,
If it's appropriate, there are some members of the District 9 board who were very involved with the naming. I could ask them to speak. I just conducted the process, but there were at least 3-4 members here.
So Michelle Foss, I'm actually the School Improvement Council Chair at Angel Oak. So it was through the School Improvement Council that the recommendation came up to name the Media Center Library Dr. Eric Mack. And that recommendation, we did solicit feedback from both the PTA with the help of the principal and in community for other names, but the reason that Eric's name was thrown out there was because of the countless meetings, emails, phone calls, and the hours that were spent in the community to sort of get through this renovation. So he definitely spends a lot of time in District 9 with the community and those folks, and so it's really his face that folks in the district see. And I think that's probably why there wasn't another name thrown out that they felt like really facilitated and helped and engaged the community to get those renovations over at Angel Oak. And for that reason, no other names were nominated, and unanimously the School Improvement. We couldn't do it because of the weather at the School Improvement Council, the meeting. It was actually done at the PTA meeting, and which was good because we had a bit more people there that would have not, the school improvement council is maybe a little bit more data and boring, and the PTA is a little bit more fun, so we had a few more people that came out and voted. We did have three constituent school board members attend that vote as part of that voice of the community, and they also agreed that that was made sense going forward.
So what you told me basically is, see, the work we do as school board members is precisely what you said. You have a lot of emails, visit schools, serve the community, make phone calls. And nothing against Reverend Mack at all, it's a fine person.
Right.
I wish you all could have schools named after us, building, but when I look at the requirements of the policy speaks about someone that did something of honor, of be really above and beyond. Like maybe someone taught school for 35 years and they dedicated all the time to the education field, all the effort went to that, and they're being recognized, and that person also died. So,
I'm still alive.
Yeah, you're alive. Yeah, don't die yet. We need you. Don't die. But it speaks about. It says part of the policy says that. Let me see what I find. It says no school shall be named after a living person.
School.
It's not a school.
But hold on, but the library is part of a school. It doesn't break it down though. It says no school shall be named for a living person. But I'm gonna say this, I can't tell anybody how to vote, but I don't think this really supports board members being named and putting their names on buildings or facilities or parts of schools. It's not intended for serving board members, elected officials. It's not intended for us. It doesn't talk about that anywhere. But if we amend the policy, that all board members can have their name put on the building, including constituent board members, can be put somewhere, I can certainly support that. I think that's really the intent of it. The policy would need to be amended to include school board members that are serving. It's not addressing that at all. But he did do good work. And I remember talking about the angel, remember coming up and speaking, and he represented you guys very well. We all did. We want you guys to have the best out there. But I think this kind of goes against the spirit of the policy, that because he is a living person that's currently serving in his 4th year on the school board.
Call the question.
Okay.
That wasn't the policy that we had at the vote, because it wasn't a school, that wasn't,
Yeah.
we didn't have.
It wasn't explained to you.
Yeah, and also.
No, but I mean, I think
Yeah.
there might be another policy.
Yeah, also, you have to recognize. You have to
Call the
recognize.
question.
Hold on one second.
No,
You
call the
also have
question.
to recognize work in the community, like with a plaque or something to do with the school and dedicate it. It has to be a formal event.
It's done. So Kate called the question. I will mention that the Reverend Mack was on the constituent school board here for 12 years, so it's not just a 4-year term. So, all right, so we've called the question. So all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
All opposed?
I oppose.
Okay, 1 against, okay. All right, so that one passes. What's next?
The next is policy FF, and it's the name of a hallway. There is a creative writing hallway in Tulare Yards, and a group of teachers and students collectively got together to recommend that the hallway, that's actually a span of about 3 classrooms, be named after Renee Miles, who was a long-time creative writing English teacher at School of the Arts. And she also taught at Recruitment.
Okay, so I move that we approve the recommendation of the committee to name the creative writing hallway in the School of the Arts after Renee Miles.
Second.
And I have a question for that also. Renee is still living out soon also?
Yes, she's still living.
And how many names were submitted for?
1.
So only 1 name?
Yes.
I really have an issue with that. If you only have 1 name for these recommendations, and I just don't see how. If you advertise, it seems like you would get at least several people's names to go in the hallway, or a building, or a library. I don't understand how you're getting only getting 1.
I got a question.
So I still take issue with the fact that less issue because the person that's not elected official, but more of the issue that the person is still living, and teaching is good. But we have lots of teachers that teach 35 and 40 years, and they never have buildings named after them, or hallways, or buildings, or anything, or rooms, nothing named after them. You've got coaches that have taught 30 years, and had nothing in there. So this policy really pertains to something, really a distinction that other people didn't do that this person did. And I don't see how we can fill in the spirit of this policy by just naming those as people that we just want to name them after, because for some reason, maybe we don't like the person in general. And we can amend it and say, well, I like this person, let's put this one, I like these board members, I put their names on, but I just don't see that in the black and white. But I'm gonna pause, because I know you're gonna vote where you want to vote anyway, because with the board members.
All right, let Priscilla.
I have no opinion one way or the other what should be called after whom. However, I do feel like local communities of local schools should have the say of what they want to go on in their schools. I don't go to their schools, I'm not a parent in their schools. And if they have one person, that is my personal opinion, you're the people who are in the school building or in the community, and this is the person that you want to represent your school. That's just my opinion on it.
I got a comment too.
Chris?
Just to answer the question about, did you take, suggestions from the community? I think I see it the other way. At least everyone that I've been experienced with, it's not that we have a hall and we need to go find somebody. It's we want to recognize someone who's done some great things for our community. Oh, we have a hall. Why don't we do this as it's usually that direction versus trying to get votes for somebody. It's.
I call the question.
All right. All in favor of naming this hall at the School of the Arts after Rennie Miles? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I oppose.
All right. That one passes. Next, policy GCCAAA. That's you. You want to make this, fit the state, right?
Yeah, no, the federal government.
The federals, even.
Yes, so
even
this
more.
policy has been updated to reflect changes in the federal government regulations. That's what's being presented to you. Nothing additional has been added. If you have any questions, I'm happy to ask.
I'm going to approve that.
Second.
Okay, all in favor of making this change?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that one passes unanimously. All right, great. And then next is potential consent.
Potential consent. So right now it would be item.
Yeah.
Well, item D, items B and C, Reverend Collins voted against, so they wouldn't.
So basically, it's just D that goes to consent.
Right.
Unless you will let it go. But I bet you that's not.
No, I'm
yeah.
going to contest it.
Get an opportunity to talk.
Monday also.
All right, so adjourn the policy and personnel, and then operations, I believe, Mr. Collins, do y'all want to go right into this one? It's a 4:30 start time? I'm happy to keep going, or whatever you want.